Aaron Rodgers officially a Steeler, but now we've seen the deal. You see him signing it right there.
Oh, he cut the gray? Okay. He cut the gray?
I don't know. He's got a ring on that finger, though. We will find out. Hey, but Rodgers signed for just $13 million. So when you think about everybody the Steelers could have acquired this offseason, now we have the full picture. Geno went for $37.5. Darnold went for $33.5. Justin Fields for just north of $20 million. Aaron Rodgers, $13.7. And Russell Wilson, the Steelers starting quarterback of last year, for $10.5. We have been highly critical of the Steelers and how they handle things, but again, we didn't have all the information. Now we do. Aaron Rodgers, just $13.5 million. James, now that you have all of the information, can you suggest the Steelers got it right with Rodgers?
Yeah, they had us all nervous and scared and all that you was going to go into the season with those quarterbacks you had on the roster. But, yeah, they ended up getting it right because even with all those dudes on that roster, if you paid them all the same amount of dollars, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback. So you could have went after Sam Darnold. You could have went after Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and all that. But Aaron Rodgers, at 41 years old, is still the best quarterback on that list. And you got him at the price that you got him at. So I definitely believe they got it right. You know, it would have looked whole lot better if George Pickens was still there, but we'll talk about that later. But, no, I definitely think they got it right, man. Aaron Rodgers still can play some good football, man. He does. He got a lot of good football left in him, man. I had sent something to my dog Shady because I'm like, man, I know we always want to talk about wins, but Aaron Rodgers, before the Achilles, was still playing really good football. He had 91 touchdown passes and 27 interceptions. This is Aaron Rodgers not including the Achilles season. Any team will take that. This is Aaron Rodgers not including his Achilles injury season. My man still has a lot of good football left to play. He's extremely smart. The football is coming out of his hands, so it's going to help your O-line. He still can play good football. So they absolutely got it right if you ask me.
Graphics.
You know what I'm saying? I did it just for you. I did it just for you.
But you know, probably the best agent of all time, Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah.
He put me on something like this. He said, hey, listen, I can make any stat look great.
That's what I called before.
Yo, look. I'm looking at, he had like a little brochure he was showing everybody. He was trying to recruit. And it was Adrian Peterson on the left side, he had me on the right side. And from the way it looked, like, I'm way better than AP. So I said, what you got going on here? He said, yo, from the money, from this, that, he can make any stat look how he wants to. Because it's the same stats where I can show guys that don't have them type of stats and less, and they got more wins. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you want?
His team.
Anyway, yes, the Steelers, they got it right. Thank God they're not going to that season with them type quarterbacks. I think the owner's happy now. He can talk about a quarterback that he knows exactly who he is, what's his number going to be, and what's his name. But you still have DK Metcalf, who I think is really, really good. I think this the veteran part of Aaron Rodgers, he will play well. So they got it right. Only thing is, it's funny, it's like for a quarterback, when they get older, they didn't want to get the market right. Because I was looking at all them quarterbacks on there with everybody got paid this offseason, and I'm thinking like, who would pay Justin Fields? Was it 30 million, 20 million? Who would pay him that? I don't think it's a big market for people to give him 20 million. Geno Smith, he's okay, but like, are we dying to pay him 35? Sam Darnold, you had a great year and nobody wanted to even talk about being that quarterback at a certain number. So I just want to mention that because I hate how the market is. It's only for the quarterbacks. I was telling the NFLPA rep this, like, anyway. But I was saying, like, why does it wait for a quarterback to get older before they get the right amount of money they're supposed to get?
That is
where
fair.
Every other position is like, oh, man, you're a little older. He's not as, we can't pay him that. I just hate how that goes.
And to Shady's point, Fields got $30 million guaranteed. He got $20 million over the course of each year.
About that,
$40 million deal, but $30 million guaranteed. Chase, talk to us. You're the quarterback. Did the Steelers get it right?
I'm back and forth on this one. And for this year, yeah. But for the last 8 years since Big Ben, no. No, they haven't. I'll focus mainly on this year. When you get a guy, a future Hall of Famer, for $13.65 million, I mean, guys, that is very cheap. They won that, no doubt about it. But then you look at what they could have had, and they wanted 5 other guys before Aaron Rodgers. Like, their number one was Matthew Stafford. That's how I see the only way they got this right is if they would have gotten Matthew Stafford, because you know you have a franchise guy for the next 2 or 3 years. With Rodgers, it's a 1-year rental. So that's fine and all, but I still don't see them making the playoffs. And if they do, I don't see them winning a playoff game because I don't think Aaron at this point in his career, not, like your stats, 91 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay, but you know, to Shady's point, the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers or Jets have not made the playoffs in 3 years. Yep. They have not been they have not made the playoffs. And so his 2021 MVP season is great, but you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, they're the 10th toughest schedule in the NFL. Pittsburgh lost their leading rusher, leading passer, leading receiver, and the last 3 times that has happened, guys, teams have finished 2-15, 3-13, 5-11. So I just don't know why all of a sudden we think that this Rodgers team is going to make the playoffs and make some noise. They have some issues on defense. You know, they traded away George Pickens. I think it would have helped if they would have stayed. But for me, it's like, man, I can't shake that they haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Now, that's fair.
And so for me, it's like, what does Rodgers get you 1 year, and then you're starting all over again next year?
The reason I'll say they got this right is, and obviously I talk a lot of blackjack often. I play with my dog 2-5, and I learned a lot playing with Shady McCoy because you ain't always going to win, but you got to win more than you lose. And what I learned sitting at that blackjack table is you're not going to win every hand. Just make sure you make the best decision with the information you're given. That's acquiring Aaron Rodgers. If the Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, Chase, I would suggest they weren't going to make the playoffs with anybody. Because if you don't believe they're going to make the playoffs with Rodgers, they weren't going to make it with Justin Fields. They weren't going to make it with Russell Wilson. They weren't going to make it with Sam Darnold with the new system and Arthur Smith as a coach. They weren't going to make it with Geno Smith, who didn't make it last year with the Seattle Seahawks. So at least Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance at success. Now, I agree. I don't know how great a chance at success it is, but Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback even right now on that list. Maybe you could suggest Russell Wilson on that list, and he's the second cheapest. Yeah. Second cheapest. So if I can get Aaron Rodgers for $13 million and you got Geno Smith for $37 million and even more than that guaranteed, so you got Geno for 2 years and I get Rodgers for 1 year and I can get him again for another year, that to me is the best decision.
I get it, but no one else wanted Aaron Rodgers. There were other teams wanting Geno, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields. Yeah, but they never made the offer. They were riding with JJ. And so they never made an offer. So if you only have one team bidding, of course you're going to get $13.7 million. I sat up here, I was like, man, Aaron Rodgers at least needs to get 20-something.
So
all these other guys had a market.
So really quick, who the best quarterback on that list?
Rodgers.
And the Steelers got him for the cheapest.
Yeah.
How can we even go and circle around all these other stuffs and say they didn't get it right? They got it right. And you could have got lucky and got it right. He's the best quarterback up there. He's the oldest quarterback up there. He's the slowest quarterback up there. And all these dudes up there ain't messing with Aaron Rodgers, and they got him for that much money. Playoffs and all that, we just talking about did they get it right?
Maybe for this year.
That's all that matters, though. We can't talk about next year. We don't know it.
It's not all that matters. And you were you're the first one on the show to say it, and I agree with you. They've been stuck in QB conundrum forever, it seems like. And so at least with some of those other guys, maybe Russell has 2 or 3. This is Aaron Rodgers' last year.
So we say, to your point, so we say.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm thinking. Based on the contract, it's not a 2-year deal, all this stuff. They have to start over from scratch again.
Let me ask you this, though,
and they can't get out of the cycle that's spinning.
But here's the question, though. Hold on, James. Because what I'm suggesting is, what was the alternative? Sam Darnold is not a better alternative. And now get this. Now you would have been stuck with Darnold for like 3 years. So now you're stuck with mediocrity and maybe below mediocrity for 3 years. If it's Geno Smith, now you're stuck with mediocrity, maybe below mediocrity for 2 to 3 years. If it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, now I would rather have a 1-year rental, move off of Aaron Rodgers in 1 year for this allegedly great quarterback class that we don't know how good it's going to be because you don't know how good any college quarterback is going to be. Now, the quarterback class is hyped up a lot, but again, I don't believe that either. You just never know. So, to me, Chase, all things considered, it's the best decision because then you can move off of him in a year. What's the alternative? Darnold is not a better alternative in my mind.
Hell no.
He can't be.
Hell no.
Explain that a little bit more. Because you're saying mediocrity, right? He didn't have a mediocre season last year, and it's one season, right? And he's been not great most of his career.
Yeah, been bad.
Been bad, right? But this could be a turning point for. I'm not saying Darnold's the answer. All I'm saying is like, there's a reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted Aaron Rodgers 5th out of all those guys. Now, I don't know what it is, okay? And probably because it's 1 year and they wanted to maybe have a guy for 2 or 3 years. I don't think it's the wrong decision for this year. I don't. I do think Aaron Rodgers probably gives them the best chance to win this year. I'm just saying, can you get out of this cycle of constantly spinning your wheels over 500? And there's not a quarterback out there, so I get it. It's just They haven't developed that's my bigger issue.
Got it.
Can I ask you a
And there's
question?
no way out after Rodgers, because then what are you doing next year?
Let me ask you a question, because we keep saying fifth, right? So you had a chance. Russell Wilson, he ain't want to sell his house, nothing. He had an apartment there with him and Sierra
Stafford was
after he
one.
sold his house and all that type of stuff. And Pittsburgh kept telling him, we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. They easily could have gave Justin Fields $20
We know
million
they offered Fields, they
a year.
offered Darnold. That's what
Right.
we know for
And they
certain.
wanted Stafford.
Yeah,
Stafford was their number one.
Everybody wants Stafford.
Exactly.
All right,
Can
so
you-
yeah, true.
that's
Stafford
three
gone.
already.
We knew Stafford wasn't going nowhere. But how can we sit here and say Aaron Rodgers was the fifth dude that they wanted?
That's literally what we just told
But the
you.
thing is
Stafford
that-
was 1, Fields 2, Russell,
Well, we know
Darnold.
Chase is where Stafford can't. The reason I was you can't count
They wanted
Stafford.
Russell over Aaron? How can we say
I don't
that?
think so, yeah.
You don't think Russell's a better
I
quarterback
think,
right now?
I think they wanted
I'm talking-
Aaron, but it's more of like, he got so much with him. Like, yo, I'll be on your team, but I need some time.
You
Like,
talking about Rodgers?
Yeah, so I think if Rodgers was down to sign like all the other quarterbacks, he might have been the number one option. But he got lots of with him. He took all the way down to minicamp, OTA.
Yeah. Was he retiring? Was he not?
So
Was-
like
He's gonna be there
that had a lot
tomorrow,
to do with the option in the picks too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that matters.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.